and Seattle. Harbaugh's phone is expected to keep on ringing. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do Black history every single day. In fact, as the only Black talk radio station west of the Mississippi, we are Black history. Our annual Black History Month luncheon is fast approaching, and we want to be sure to give you ample time to get your company, organization, church, or group to join us at this year's celebration on the last day of the month, Thursday, February 29th at noon. Last year, we honored iconic local Black media personalities, including Pat Harvey, Jim Hill, Mark Brown, Beverly White, Sandy Banks, and Pat Prescott, and raised $20,000 in scholarships. This year, we're honoring Black Hollywood creatives who have used their artistic genius as climate justice champions. At this year's luncheon, we will be showcasing and sharing their inspiring work on our big screen. Plus, a scrumptious meal, live music, great company, and lots of fun with your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts. So contact us today at info@smileyAudiomedia.com or call 323-290-4690. That's info@smileyAudiomedia.com or call 323-290-4690. We hope to see you Thursday, February 29th as we close out Black History Month. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your Black.
First things first.
Things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule. 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not to unsettle you. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First Black on Talk Radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted Black and Brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. The show is called First Things First. My very first thing today and every day, giving thanks, giving praises, asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and keeping it moving. As always, we got a lot to talk about. Not too many people hanging out with us today. Mostly it's me and you, so great day to call if you have something to say, if it's been bottled up, if you've been haven't been able to get in where you fit in. 800-920-1580 is the number. So, hour one, we usually do left coast stuff. What's going on in California in this side of town. Hour two, we do national, international, beyond, and whatever else comes with it. In hour three, we do a deep dive with a person of interest or a hot topic. Today is both. We'll be speaking with Wealth Management Long Beach, Wealth Management Financial Advisors, Stanford MBA, Marie Deary, because, we got to get our finances together for the new year. But not only that, there is a law that has come into effect in January that is going to impact small businesses. And if you don't know about this, you could end up having a huge fine and some problems with the feds, my friends. So if you're a business owner, you're going to definitely want to stick around in hour three. If you know a business owner, if you care about a business owner, you're definitely going to want to stick around in hour three. Of course, it's a Wealth Building Wednesday, so we'll be meeting a small, socially innovative business. And game on, let's go, 800-920-1580. I might have to recruit Miles to talk with me a little bit today. He's always filling in for everybody, keeping us all afloat, as well as keeping the technical and production aspects of this whole radio station together. So we thank you, Miles, for all of your hard work and dedication.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. How you feeling this morning, Dominique?
I feel good. Why do you ask?
Just asking.
Oh, do I actually got a lot of sleep. I apologize to my siblings. I slept through a meeting I was supposed to be at. But I feel good. I'll probably be on one today. So come on, get on one with me, 800-920-1580. How are you feeling?
Good. I feel real good. Real good. Very creative. Been working out more, so yeah.
Excellent.
My body feels good.
Excellent. Yeah, it gives you as much energy as actually more energy than it takes away.
Right.
I know Donald Trump has this theory that you only have so much energy in life, and if you use it all up, you die. And he thinks that working out makes you use up the energy and die sooner, which, of course, is completely the opposite of what scientists say. But forget what scientists say. You know, I'm a workout enthusiast, and I know that when I'm on my game, I have more energy.
So the same guy that was saying drink bleach.
True
right?
that. True
So,
that.
yeah.
So, consider the source. That's what we mean when we say consider the source. Yeah. I hope everyone had a good time at the parade. I think it was really fun. I hope that everyone's feeling creative. Because creativity, I believe, is the opposite of deprivation. You know what I mean? When we get into scarcity mindset and we start being fearful and worried and living in that fear space of what if I die? What if I don't have enough money? Even when we're struggling, I think it's more, at least for me, it's more helpful to stay in an abundance consciousness. And I believe creativity helps us to do that. It's like what Joe Michael Nixon said yesterday. It's collaboration over competition, creativity over fear.
Yeah, I get you. I feel like also it's a lot coming at people right now at this time. So I empathize. Is that the word? I empathize for the people who can't take that time to really stay in that mindset when they have so much coming at them.
Trust and believe. I'm naturally a worrying person. So, I have to, it's a constant battle for me. It's not like I'm some bodhisattva or some, wise man or woman. It's just that I know that if I can do what I need to do to help myself stay in that space of disciplined imagination and abundance mindset, I will generate more fun, creativity, opportunity. It's like Coach Eric Nall used to always talk about, if Steve Jobs would have been looking sideways at the flip phone instead of trying to invent the iPhone, we'd all just be still having a better flip phone, right? But getting out of that, well, let me compare myself to what the other man or woman is doing, and maybe I can, get a little bit of what they've got instead of saying, like, how do I invent a whole new thing, a lane for myself? It's just a challenge. Just one of the things I thought was worth talking about in our local hour right now is a report that came out that did not get a lot of attention, but I think it brings it brings an important question forward, which is the ACLU did a report about the way that police use dogs in law enforcement. And what they found is that officers use their dogs to attack people who have done very small things, minor offenses, people who have already surrendered, and they're just like, okay, I give up. And then they let the dog go on and bite them anyway. And that in the state of California, there are not guidelines. There are no statewide guidelines about when you can and cannot use a dog, when you're supposed to call them off. Nothing enforceable. It's up to each department to have their own policy, or if they even have a policy, what is considered acceptable, maybe just an unwritten rule. And I wonder, they raise the question of whether dogs should be used at all in policing. And I think it's a valid question. I never really thought about it. It's just one of those things I kind of accepted because we always knew that police had police dogs. But the ACLU and a group called Physicians for Human Rights that was involved in this report said that there was a lack of transparency and accountability. And of course, when you look at origins of policing and the through line from the overseer on the plantation and then the slave catcher to our modern policing, which is a very direct, straight line, the use of dogs to catch rebellious, runaway, enslaved persons is legendary. And the use of dogs during the civil rights movement by those police agencies to attack peaceful protesters is well documented. Now, I have a dog. I love dogs. Nothing against dogs. But dogs do or do not do most of the time. Not mine specifically, because, he doesn't always listen. But most of the time, they do what you train them to do, right? And police dogs are trained to attack, bite, and hold on until the cop says, let go. So, to me, it raises a question about whether that's even something we should be doing in these modern times. Of course, the law enforcement agencies are arguing that police dogs can go in and create safety for the officers in ways that other, what they call tools, they call the dogs tools, do not. Going into dangerous situations, sniffing out drugs that, or even cadavers that a regular human nose would not be able to find, and that they help keep the officers safe. I'm curious what you think. And I have a few thoughts, 800-920-1580. There's a lot going on that we can unpack this morning. And as always, I would love to hear from you. This is the spot where we are amplifying Black and progressive voices all day, every day. We are KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids.
Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
On your period, sudden gushes happen without warning. But now, you can say goodbye to stand-up gush fears, thanks to Always Ultra Thins with rapid dry technology. It absorbs gushes 2 times faster than the leading store brand and gives you up to 100% leak-free protection. Hello, clean and comfortable with Always Fear No Gush.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Yeah, so I feel like this might be something, for me, from my opinion, or my perspective, that this might be something that we need to look at, the way we're talking about taking cops out of traffic stops, in terms of maybe abolishing it. I haven't done a deep enough dive to be hard and fast on that, although I'll admit I'm leaning towards it, because to me, if you are a person in possession of two lethal and one sometimes lethal weapons, right? You've got a gun, you've got a taser. We know Keenan Anderson died from being tased to death, and many others have. And now you have a dog, but we know, based on data, basically every study, that you're more likely to attack somebody black or Latina, but especially black people. Is it a good idea for you to have a dog who responds to your command? And when you decide you want to inflict pain on someone, you see these situations where there's escalation. We've seen it, in, I'll say, most of the tapes of police killings and maulings of human beings, is the de-escalation training ain't working. The message is not coming through. And when there is de-escalation, when an officer tries to do that, as in Officer Crutchfield out in Pasadena, many times they pay a price for it. So the question is, if you do not have the ability to de-escalate and you have a built-in prejudice against black people, should you be allowed to have the very thing that was used by slave catchers, the very thing that was used by overseers and legendarily racist cops during the civil rights movement? Should you have that in your arsenal? Dog bites are nothing nice, aside from the possibility of infection. Most people that survive a police dog attack are hospitalized. And I would say the very least we need is state regulations about when and how those dogs can be used. Oh, my lawmakers in our KBLA delegation, here's a project for you, right? And so it's really the people that need to change their mindset, not the dog. The dog is trained to bite and let go when you say let go. But if you are emotionally unstable, white supremacist, juiced up on steroids, whatever your story is, afraid. That's what we always hear. I feared for my life. You're afraid. Boy, that fear is a mind killer, as they say in the book Dune. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I read the book many years ago. Fear is a mind killer. Oh, I feared for my life, so I had to maul you with my dog. And this case of a man named Earl May Jr., who is a 64-year-old. He went into a construction site to try to help his neighbor recover their lost cat. This is in 2015. He set off an alarm by going into the site. The San Mateo County Sheriff's deputies came. They responded to the alarm. He was unarmed. He was 64. He was looking for a cat. But officer sicked a dog on him. Dog bit him a bunch of times. Serious puncture wounds in his calf. He was hospitalized for weeks. Hospitalized for some days. Injured for weeks. Not able to work or go about his business. And he sued. He sued San Mateo County, as he should have. He won. He got $1.1 million. Another reason to reconsider the use of police dogs. We, the taxpayers, are paying all these big bills because y'all cannot control your white supremacist tendencies, your overly emotional pattern of escalating encounters, particularly with black people and BIPOC people. And this guy, Earl May Jr., was considered, his case was considered as sort of an example of what happens within this report, saying that, which the ACLU concluded, that police canines are being used to inflict, I'm quoting here, unnecessary, disproportionate harm on people who commit minor crimes, i.e., I walked into a construction site to help my neighbor get their cat back. I'm 64 and I don't have a gun or a knife or anything. I'm going, here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Oh. Who let the dogs out? Not to mention the use of dogs on people with mental health crises. And the list goes on. Law enforcement says that those dogs help protect officers, that they help catch suspects that maybe the cop couldn't. And that they also are used by bomb squads and as drug detection specialists. Food for thought. For me, the fact that this report is also co-authored by Physicians for Human Rights is a bit of a wake-up call, right? Whenever you get the doctors saying this is a problem, I think that, to me, it gives added urgency. And at least we should have uniformity. You know, every police department has the same rules. Every police department has the same accountability. The word, I mean, just hearing it makes me laugh because it sounds accountability, law enforcement, not something we hear, words we hear together too often. But as always, I'm interested in what you have to say. And you can connect with me, not just on the phone. I notice some of y'all prefer to be in the chat. I'm on youtube.com at KBLA 1580. And I also love to get responses on my threads or my DMs. Not Threads, the app. I'm not there yet. I'm talking about Facebook, mostly Instagram, because that's my fave at the moment. Twitter/X. We are at KBLA 1580, and mine is DiPrima Radio, DiPrima. And then radio, please like, follow, subscribe, hang out, respond, jump in. Miles, you're on Threads, right?
Yeah, everything at Miles Low Music.
Which isn't, that's not a, it's not a replacement for Twitter. I guess it's like Meta's response to Twitter or X.
It was a failed attempt. That's what I'm going to call it.
Really?
I think it was a failed attempt. Yeah.
Is it whack?
Yeah, I mean, it's not essential. That's not what you go to Instagram for. So if you use if you use Twitter, you may like repost your Twitter post on Threads or something. Or repost your Instagram post, but it's not primary yet.
You're right. And unless, I mean, I guess they might be waiting in the wings, because if Twitter X fails, if it fails financially, then you think they could have an opportunity, or it's just not the same?
I mean, it feels like it's the third or fourth most important thing to Instagram, you know?
Okay.
Like they're rolling out the reels heavy, they're doing the music side heavy.
Right.
They're upgrading their main Instagram platform, and plus they're owned by Meta, so who knows what Meta's doing on their side too. So I don't think that Threads is gonna be the end all be all now.
Yeah.
I don't think sticking around.
Okay. Well, you know, I know you had said maybe I should try it out just because we should be everywhere where people are talking.
Right.
But I haven't gotten around to it, and I'm always getting these notifications, you know, so and so wants you to follow them on Threads, or they
I mean, you want to be early to it, so I don't see a problem with using it.
Yeah, but it's not, as we're past early, right? I mean, it's been out for 6 months, a year, something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, early in the sense that it hasn't caught on yet.
Okay,
you know what I mean? It's more of a subsidiary app.
Right. It may never catch on, but it could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to be ready when it happens.
Yeah. Well, I think, are we? Yeah. Is KBLA on Threads? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
We are. Yeah, we probably are. I'm not yet, but perhaps I will be after this conversation. I always think back to the other Miles, Miles Blockson, who worked with me on Front Page for many years. A couple of years. She was an intern and then an assistant. And a tech expert who talked me into going on Instagram. I was like, I don't need another app. I already have to deal with Facebook and Twitter, and now Instagram is my favorite. Had it not been for Miles Blockson, she actually took my phone, set the account up, and said, "Here's how you use it." I wouldn't be on Instagram, and I'd be missing out.
That was kind of me with TikTok.
Yeah. I never got on TikTok either. That's terrible. I shouldn't say it on the air, but I kind of bought into the hype about, Chinese collecting information about us, which is silly because every app collects information on you. And why is Mark Zuckerberg less nefarious than the Chinese?
Right. Yeah, I mean, we're giving our data away at this point.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Come on in. Right. Look in my, get all my info, sell it.
I feel like, but the thing that a lot of these apps never really caught up to TikTok was TikTok is aimed on trying to, expand the reach of the creatives, the good creatives. You know what I mean? The algorithm's set up for that. Everybody else's algorithm is set up for ads. That's not really that's not their moneymaker. Their moneymaker is the creatives,
Because, I mean, how do you see that manifest on the app?
I mean, like even like their algorithms that maybe in the early 2021, 2022, when they were pushing and blowing up careers for musicians, for comedians, for dancers, for artists, that was because their
business model is based on volume of people,
exactly,
rather than how many ads they sell,
rather than your viewing time. They were short form content,
right,
based on, as opposed to having long form content to sell you on time watched.
You know what? And I'm not gonna lie, I watch a lot of TikTok videos. I just don't have the app. I see them on Instagram. I see them on Twitter. I see them when my friends send them to me on my phone. So now I'm not like, oh no, the Chinese. Now I'm just more like, okay, when I get around to it. And as you said, being early to it is better. I'm not early to it. I'm late to the party. Should I even go? So, but I think that I can kind of see your point because so many people have done so well on that app.
I think you should go for it, Dominique.
Really?
I think, we got a 6-minute break coming up right here. I think Threads and TikTok is what you should do during this break.
Right. We have news, we have traffic, we got a lot of good things coming up. You think I could do it in during news, traffic, and sports?
I know.
Okay, maybe if you help me. Oh, Lord, me doing TikTok videos, that sounds scary, but I'm always doing reels, so I guess what's the difference? News, traffic, and sports. It's perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580. We are unapologetically progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. In Georgia, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. recently held a roundtable with black women in Atlanta to discuss pressing issues impacting the black community. He tells the Black Information Network he wants to continue his family's legacy of working towards true equality for all Americans. Kennedy also said having charter schools and school choice will allow the black community to access better education opportunities. He is running as the independent presidential candidate. The central U.S. is bracing for more bitter cold. The National Weather Service says another Arctic cold front will be plunging into the U.S. starting up today and could bring more record-setting cold temperatures. Forecasters say the polar plunge could extend as far south as the Florida Panhandle. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
We've all felt the impact of rising food prices. For families in poverty, they're facing malnutrition and even death. You can feed a family for a month with your $50 donation to Compassion International. Just text the word radio to 97646.
Is this the tackle? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers got a spectacular performance from Paul George last night to beat Oklahoma City at Crypto.com. They won by 11. PG scored 18 of his season-high 38 points in the fourth quarter. At 26-14, the Clippers are just 2.5 games behind Minnesota for the best record in the Western Conference. The Clippers are 17-4 since November 30th. The Lakers are back in action tonight. They're at home against Dallas. The Lakers are trying to get back to 500. They're one game below. The Chargers are going to have some competition in trying to hire Jim Harbaugh as their next head coach. Harbaugh interviewed with Atlanta on Tuesday. At the moment, 5 other NFL teams are looking for a head coach. The Raiders, Carolina, Washington, Tennessee, and Seattle. Harbaugh's phone is expected to keep on ringing. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. So add those human pawns, loved ones, and save money. Thanks, kids. They're finally worth it. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Get 4 lines on Silver Unlimited for $25 per line per month, plus taxes and fees. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com.
Every business seeks an advantage, whether it's having the best location, hiring top talent, or spotting trends before they happen. And now, the United States Postal Service can give your business a new advantage. Introducing USPS Ground Advantage. Reliable and affordable 2 to 5 day package shipping. It's the advantage you need at the price you want. Get the Ground Advantage at USPS.com/advantage. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the exclusive media sponsor of this light of ours, activist photographers of the Civil Rights Movement. A dynamic new exhibition on view now at the Skirball Cultural Center in Los Angeles. This light of ours showcases more than 150 photos taken by movement insiders from diverse backgrounds that reveal the vital work undertaken by a broad coalition of organizers and everyday people whose collective action changed America. This light of ours is one of 3 temporary exhibitions currently on view at the Skirball, which together explore issues related to civil rights, immigration, and pluralism. Tickets and more information for all 3 exhibitions are available at skirball.org. That's skirball.org. SKIRBALL.org.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on
Don't miss out on limited-time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today. Because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 1/4 through 1/24. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
Skincare is self-care, and with daily beauty steals of 50% off during Ulta Beauty's Love Your Skin event, I can find everything I need to make loving my skin a daily practice, from brands like Osea, Lancome, and Tula. And I can shop weekly skin and wellness deals of 30% off more must-have brands. Plus, see what's new from brands like Bubble and in select stores, Sol de Janeiro and Ulla Henriksen. Hurry, event ends January 20th. Shop in store, online, or try pickup today. Ulta Beauty, the possibilities are beautiful. Conditions apply.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that. So he founded the Amera I Can Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the Amera I Can program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The Amera I Can Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit AmeriICanCommunity.partners. That's AmeriICanCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
And I'm on my way, Miles. I'm working on it. It took me a little longer than you, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to get on Tik-Tok at your recommendation and make it happen. Why not?
Yes, ma'am.
Why
yes,
not?
Ma'am.
Why not? I don't, you know.
At DiPrima Radio on TikTok?
Yeah, why not? Okay, another project for 2024. So, I didn't realize that it's the anniversary, the 30th anniversary of the earthquake, the North Ridge earthquake, which was a huge 6.7 earthquake that took place in LA. And that was in 1994. And I actually lived through that quake. I did not realize I had been in LA that long, but I guess I have, because that was right when I got here. Like, yeah, welcome to LA. That was scary. I remember when that quake hit, I was in my little apartment and I was praying because it was long. It just seemed like it went on forever. And I really thought that was the end. I thought that my life was going to end then.
How often were earthquakes up north?
Pretty common. I was in the Big Bay Bridge earthquake there. I was actually at the television station and I almost I was safe, but there was just an avalanche of videotapes. But I didn't think I was going to die. I mean, it was short. That one was bad. That's the one that cracked the Bay Bridge. I was running late. I was supposed to be on that bridge with some friends going to a baseball game, but maybe that's why I've been running late ever since, because that would have been really scary. But in any case, that earthquake was long. And I didn't die, obviously. Here I still am 30 years later. Miles, you weren't even alive when that earthquake hit.
I was born in August of 94.
Yeah, so you missed it.
Just missed it.
Just missed it. But that was, it was scary and it was long and I was fine, but there was a lot of damage, including to the freeways. But one thing that I remember really clearly from that time is that everybody was so kind. It was really neighborly. Like, people were helping each other. They were giving each other food. The ones that had flashlights were letting everybody use them. The people were sharing whatever radios were available, which it's a good thing to have. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on the radio. But when an earthquake hits, sometimes the cell towers are down. Sometimes electricity is out for a while. If you have a battery-operated, old-fashioned transistor radio, it's really helpful. It's one of the reasons why, Congress has been asked to keep AM radios in cars, because your electricity could be down and you could be without cell service, but you can hop in your car if you have one and hear, tune into radio, particularly AM, which, signal is very reliable. And you can find out what's going on. And I know I'm a Cali kid. I have family on the East Coast, but I have been here my whole life. And let me tell you something. When you have lived through one of the big quakes, you're more serious about your earthquake kit. I have mine. I always have enough for water for several days. I always have canned goods. I will donate them to a food bank in plenty of time if they're about to expire so someone else can eat them. And then I'll get a new batch because I don't eat a lot of canned foods. I like to eat fresh foods as much as possible. When an earthquake hits, I keep saying I'm going to start a garden, but I don't have a green thumb. That's another great idea, though. For the folks, all my KBLA delegates who are growing collard greens. And we had a whole front page conversation about this, Miles. I was shocked at how many people have collard green trees in their backyards in LA and whatever, corn, tomatoes. A lot of people grow tomatoes, but apparently collard greens. And I didn't even know collards grew on trees. Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I thought they were like, bushes or like cabbages or something. No, they're actually trees.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a great project, plant a collard green tree, a moringa tree. I want to do that because moringa is so full of nutrients. It could get you through most anything. That, if, stores are closed down, gas stations are closed. I also try to keep my gas tank on full because if you think about it, gas stations require electricity to pump gas.
Plus, they'll be jam-packed at that point anyway.
Right, when they do open, yeah. So you need a flashlight with batteries in it that you know where it is. I'm earthquake traumatized to where I keep a flashlight, heavy gloves, and heavy boots near my bed. If you're sleeping and you wake up and there's broken glass everywhere, you need to have something to put on your hands so you can move stuff out the way. And you need some heavy boots to walk through that stuff. And that's the California kid side, because real talk, when that hits, you suddenly don't feel stupid for doing that. You feel very virtuous. And it also comes in handy. In my building, I was living in an apartment building back then. I was the one with the little radio that everyone was gathering around and listening. Surprise! And, I had barely gotten into radio, but I had been into earthquakes being, from California. And the other thing that people forget, they used to tell us when we were kids, you go in a doorway, like under a door jamb, because it's supposed to be one of the most reinforced parts of a building. And so a lot of people who grew up in California remember, the guidelines, get in a doorway. I was in a doorway when the Northridge quake hit, praying. But in reality, now that's no longer the guidance. I don't know, you can get smacked by a swinging door. There might be glass near that door. So now the guideline is go under the sturdiest piece of furniture in your house. And if you're not near any furniture, you want to cover your head with your hands, the back of your head, your neck. You want to cover it with your hands, and you want to curl up because you got to protect your brain and your spinal cord, right? So if you're in your bed, they say don't go running around looking for a piece of furniture. Use the pillows, whatever you have, to pad yourself and curl up and cover your head so that you have, pack yourself up like an Amazon package with those blankets and pillows and protect yourself from flying debris.
What do you do if you're outside or driving?
If you're driving, if you can, you pull over. If you're outside, I think you got it. If you're
feel
near
it while you're driving, like does it wreck your car?
See, I've driven through earthquakes and never felt it.
Okay.
But some people are more sensitive. I think if you're outside, you're meant to. If you can get under a sturdy thing, you do that. If not, you're going to have to do the same thing. Cover your head. Try to stay away. You don't want to run outside. That's what people do, and that's a bad idea because you got falling power lines. You can get electrocuted. glass, debris, all kinds of things can be happening. But if you're already out there, you want to get to the safest. You don't want to travel a long distance, but if there's a bench or a picnic table that you can dive under, you do that. You always want to cover your head and neck. And if if there's power lines that could possibly tumble over and kill you, electrocute you, you don't want to stay near that. Be mindful of glass and stuff like that. But what you don't want to do is set out on a long journey while we're still shaking, run out the house, or try to channel your freak out into constructive things like covering your head, covering your baby's head with pillows, whatever you got to do. So, not to be scary, but on the 30th anniversary of such a huge quake, it's worth remembering that we live in earthquake country. We're not suffering from the crazy storms, even though we think it's cold, like they're having back east. We're not suffering from those tornadoes that tear people's houses, roofs off and stuff, although we did have a tornado last year, but it was tiny. We don't have to deal with that. But what we do have to deal with is being ready for earthquakes. And the thing about them is they usually happen, when you've forgotten all about it and you're just sort of lulled into complacency. So check your food supply, your water supply if you have time. Get the flashlight, the radio, some heavy gloves and boots if you can, a little earthquake kit with your medication for 3 to 5 days. Money, I always keep some small bills because nobody's going to have change. You might need to buy something or bribe someone. And a change of clothes, a toothbrush, all that stuff in a bag, ready to get the heck out if you got to. That's California living, people. Happy Northridge Quake anniversary. The good news, the LA Times says our technology is a lot better now, so we wouldn't be in as bad shape as we were in 94. But I think the thing that really got us through was people's kindness and the fact that when we get in a real crazy disaster, my experience, and I've been through quite a few of them in California, we get real neighborly all of a sudden. All of a sudden, people start sharing and being kind. The same people that would cut you off in traffic will share their last piece of bread with you. That's part of the irony and craziness that is my beloved California. It's a perfect time to call me 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
COVID-19 renter protections are ending for City of Los Angeles tenants. Know your rights and these 3 facts. February 1st is the deadline to pay rental arrears for rent owed from October 1st, 2021 to January 31st, 2023. Residential tenants cannot be evicted without a reason or just cause. You have 5 days to respond to an eviction notice from the court. Learn more at housing.lacity.org. That's housing.lacity.org. Be informed. Be protected, be at home. There's only a few days left for open enrollment, starting at $0 a month. LA Care Covered offers the benefits you need to achieve your health goals. $0 preventive services, 24/7 virtual care and nurse advice lines, walk-in minute clinics, free fitness and nutrition classes, and more. Become a member of LA's most affordable health plan. Get a free instant quote at lacarecovered.org. Have open enrollment questions? Connect with us today at 855-222-4239. Find your affordable path to wellness with LA Care Covered today.
What's up? I'm Danelle Riley, FAMU alumni and creator of the HBCU Culture Shop. I am so proud of my new partnership with Black Beyond Measure and Target. They help me elevate community pride with my HBCU designs and continue to support Black creators and entrepreneurs with Target HBCU challenges, scholarship programs, and campus collaborations. Let's come together this homecoming season and beyond. Shop my brand and discover other Black-owned products at target.com/blackbeyondmeasure.
The first time I tried to quit vaping, I told myself that it was like a mountain that I had to climb over. And once I got to the other side, it would be clear. But I couldn't make it over. What really got me to quit was my little sister. I saw her vaping. So I was back in the mountain, but this time, she was up there with me. It's weird what you can do for others that you won't do for yourself.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good.
Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-DO.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
You know what, Miles? You have a point. We were talking off the air about how we've become so jaded when it comes to unhoused people because they seem to be everywhere. And, you know, it's easy for us to get cynical and just drive on by. So Miles was saying, in response to my thought, my belief that we are basically kind people in California, but you don't always see it until a crisis steps up. Homelessness is a different kind of crisis, though, because it's a long, slow, painful crisis. And I do think that people are getting a little jaded about it, or a lot. I wish we wouldn't be. And I say we because I don't think that, given the conditions that we see on the streets right now, had year 2000 Dominique DiPrima been airdropped into where we are right now, or, and seen the conditions, she would have been probably crying and just horrified. And I am compassionate. I want to see change, but it's almost like you get used to it, and that is really not good. That's a normalization, right?
Yeah. And I think the while I get that and I understand that, I feel that the compassion can't wither. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm seeing the it's one thing to be jaded and ignore and to become normal to you. It's another thing to kind of be disrespectful, to be mean. You know what I mean? People are mean to homeless people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I believe it. I see it. I've seen it on YouTube more than in real life. But I think you're right. And that, to me, it reminds me of what Pastor James Lawson was talking about, how we have to challenge ourselves to be morally correct.
Yeah.
We can't just give in to the whatever base instinct, which is being modeled by the former president and the meanness that we see among a lot of our lawmakers.
Yeah.
But we know better.
But I mean, also too, I mean, that spills over into everywhere. That spills over to traffic. That spills over to, in the grocery store. That spills over to the gas stations. That spills over to the kids, to people walking by and, having a mean look on their face and smugging you in traffic. So, I mean, it's...
Do you think it's getting worse? I mean, I know I'm always resistant to this idea that we're going to hell in a handbasket, or people are meaner now because there's always been a-holes. Yeah. I mean, and I feel like there's always been people that are mean to. I remember I had a homeless, an unhoused kid on my show, Street Signs, right around when I came here, and he told me when people walk by me, and I might ask them for change or whatever, and they don't even look me in the eye. They act like I'm not even human. Then I just want to wait for them around the corner and rob them. And I thought, wow, people do that. That taught me a lesson. Every time I will give people the respect of eye contact and acknowledging their humanity, even if I'm saying no.
I mean, what I say is getting worse. For surely, I think it's getting worse. I think, me personally, I spend a lot of my time here in the Leimert Park area. So I get to run into more people who are more comfortable speaking to me as a black person, as a black man. But I think it's definitely getting worse. I think now we're at a point where it's awkward to talk to people in public and acknowledge somebody. So that's what's normal.
Yeah. More on that. 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard. Limitations apply.
City of Los Angeles landlords that own rent-controlled properties, starting February 1st, you'll be able to increase rents by 4% for your rent-controlled properties. An extra 1% per utility, up to 6%, can be added only if you pay the entire gas and electric bill. And don't forget to give your tenant an advance 30-day written notice for rent increases of less than 10%. It is state law. Learn more about the rent increase at housing.lacity.org. That's housing.lacity.org.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, it's a good point, Miles, about our compassion and our kindness. I think it's really easy to slip into that, man, F you, you know, and I do it. The dialogues that I have sometimes when I'm in traffic, monologues, are, woo, I would never want y'all to hear the stuff I'd be saying because I get frustrated. But I think it's different when you encounter another human being in person. And I do think we have to challenge ourselves to do better. I mean, we all know better. Our mama, our grandmama, somebody taught us that you have to be kind to each other, that human life is valuable and precious. On the other hand, I do understand that we don't want to be feeling endangered walking around.
Right.
You know good and well that's happened to me by someone who was having probably a mental health crisis, but decided to try to go after me. I've seen an unhoused person punch a woman, a tiny petite woman, in the mouth. You know, the human feces that you find in some areas and garbage. You know, I think people do get fed up with that. But I just challenge us to get back to why is it like that? It's like that because we need to have health care for all, so those people that are in need of mental health assistance can get it. And we need to have affordable, truly affordable housing, in the sense that doesn't cost more than 1/3 of your income, which is almost impossible in LA. Yeah, they are in the chat. They are in the chat. Renee Kookie Buckley was talking about the quake, saying that that's what brought the West Side through our communities in South LA because the freeways were down, and that's so true. They were down for quite a while, just as we saw that same thing happen in the Bay, where the freeways were down. I mean, literally, they were down for years, a couple of them. That's crazy. But hopefully what we saw with the fire would be repeated should we have another big quake, and we would have a rapid response and be back on the road. It's time for news, traffic, and sports. Wealth Building Wednesday, then more of your phone calls, 800-920-1580. Let's talk about it. I want to get your perspective, too. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica,